Welcome to Beyond the Stutter. We are back here with with our two special guests, Eric and Mr. Dapper Down himself, Jerrel. Yeah, shoot, Eric.
Yeah.
Man, Eric, he have a long, long, like long history, man, about his background. That you grew up in the East Coast.
Did.
Ooh, New York City, right?
I did. Yeah. It
And
was at Brooklyn, New
it,
York.
yeah, Brooklyn. So that's huge. And we have Mr. San Francisco,
Yes, sir.
man, himself. Shoot, Eric, man, that you is a C eh, that you are a global security
Right.
type of guy. So, man, could you give us a
Sure.
background, a little background about
Yeah,
yourself?
sure. I currently work at eBay. I run all of the global, the security, the facilities, environmental health and safety. Um, Before that, I was a special agent and a diplomat with the State Department for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I traveled and lived kind of like all over the world. Did high threat protection operations. Was at counterterrorism, counterintelligence stuff.
So so in certain words that you was a head honcho.
I would say I was head honcho. I was
Head
definitely like a
honcho.
piece of the cog of like the wheel, right? I think that in the government, I think that people who are currently actually working in the government, no one's really doing it for the money because it's not there. They're doing it for the love of country and uh, you know to honestly like protect people. That's like you really have to have a passion for it, and that's kind of like why I do the job that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to be a people job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mr. type of that you is big on big on big on security.
I am, yeah. I mean, that's been my life for like 20 plus years now. In places like Hungary and like Pakistan, India, Liberia. That's been my life.
So,
And then here in the U.S. Like I spent a lot of time on in the New York City area. I'm from there. I got like stationed back there. I spent like 6 years of my like 15 years back there, doing various
wow.
casework and as well as the protection operations. I said, but the biggest reason why I'm here is I grew up having like a stutter. I still do. It's like something that I like which I challenge with every single day.
Right.
But at some point in my life, I didn't let it define me.
Yeah. And that is super rare too. Like I know all of us have our struggles
Mm-hmm.
with life. Like we have we have stuff that we struggle with. Ours is, let's shoot, is just ours is out there, just
Mm-hmm.
is right there in your
Yeah.
face. Not all the time, yeah, because like I know some people always say like, oh, Antoine, look, I ain't know that you had a stutter, you know, over here, because sometimes, look, it be all smooth. I know it's similar. It's with your background too.
Yeah, completely. I mean, there are good days and bad days, right? I mean,
For
like
sure.
there's good days and bad days in life, right? But like definitely in having a stutter, there are definitely good days and bad days, and the bad days are they can get really bad. You know?
Yeah, for sure, man. No, Rail, he have it's just Rail is a nickname that I gave him. You know, where
Yeah.
is well that people call him. So if I say Rail, that's him, and E, that's Big Man E. I hear.
You know, it's funny, man. Which people have been calling me E my whole entire life.
That's how I hear Jerrel. I'm like, yo, just get to Rail. Eventually it'll become Rail. Let's just get to it already, man. Make it easy.
Yeah.
Rail, shoot, Eric E. Like, look, man, I like E. I like Rail.
Yeah.
So boom, y'all. So it's so Rail, man. I know that you don't have like all type of, I don't want to say issue, but like all type of like every day to day struggle. You know, but our podcast here, man, it's like it ain't only about people with a stuttering, with a speech impediment, look, as people call it. Man, it's about overcoming what we struggle with, like on the inside. You know, it's just our stuff is just right there.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk, like, man, I want you to talk about also, like, what is something that you always have to overcome that people may not see.
So I love about you, Antoine. You always gonna ask questions that get behind the surface. You always gonna let me dig a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Although I don't have a stutter or speech impediment, I think that one of the things I heard E mention on is the confidence aspect. And I think that for myself, that's something that I'm constantly having to push and make sure that I have. And it's something that's easy to hide, right? I can have a big smile on my face, crack a couple jokes,
Right.
and it's easy to hide, not feeling comfortable, not being as confident. But I think for myself, not really having a lot of mentors, people to look up to be in the spaces that I'm in, to be a business owner of 3 businesses, to be on a board seat, and to be in different rooms having, important conversations. I think having confidence in those areas are always key. Being a black man myself, make sure I'm representing my culture, my community the right way. It's tough sometimes, especially when people aren't expecting to be in the places you are sometimes. Being a team leader of my team at work, bringing confidence every single day. I think those are the small things that people overlook a lot.
Right.
But when you're a leader, like you've mentioned with E, like people are looking to you for direction. They're looking for you to take confidence in the right way. And a lot of times as a leader, you're pouring confidence into other people to get them going. So to show up to your job or show up to a place to be without that confidence, it can be really, really hard to even motivate some of the people around you, or even get belief in what you're doing. And so as a business owner, always pitching and investing and meeting people, being charismatic and having confidence is big, and getting people to buy into what you're doing. And so I think for me, that's something that is easily disguisable because I got this big smile, man. It's easy, but I think confidence and making sure that having us genuine is one of the things that I struggle with daily and bringing into all the rooms that I'm in.
Okay. See, well, look, as the people out there, they can tell that I'm in a room with some sharp people, like super sharp, because y'all two are killing the game right now. But back over to you, E. Like so man, I know that you played sports.
Yeah.
That you played sports like as a kid, like shoot up to up to college too.
Mm-hmm.
And saying at you, real. How did sports like help you to like build that confidence up to like to be as awesome as that you is now.
Yeah. To me, like my game was at baseball. I mean, like baseball was everything to me.
Right.
I couldn't control, like my talking, my reading. I couldn't control how people, made fun of and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
There's one place that I could control. I can control whatever happened on that field.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, I knew whatever I put in, I would get out.
Yep.
And I actually learned that early in life. I didn't grow up in a great area either, and so that was a safe haven. To me, that was my place that I could just be me.
Mm.
And I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was just play. And the harder that I trained and the harder that I played, the better I was. And I was better than those kids. And I saw every other person out on that field like every other person I saw in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they were just judging me based upon how I played, not how I talked, not how I read, none of that. And so to me, it was all about, developing that control and controlling my own life. And I think that was the first phase of me controlling, where my life would go.
Relate on that. Man, sports for me was everything. I played football since I was, 7, 8 years old. But I think it's really kind of direct where my life has gone a lot of ways. It's taught me discipline. It's taught me really how to control my emotions. I think football can be such a violent sport that you have to play within confined lines and rules. And it teaches you a lot of discipline and character. And I think that really has helped me with my career now. Really knowing how to push through adversity. Really, honestly, for a lot of people, sports is their first love. And I think with football being mine, I think you really kind of, if you treat it the right way, you learn how to appreciate it. And kind of what E said, I poured everything into football. I poured my whole life into it. You don't always get the exact result you want, but you kind of do instantly receive what you can get back when you're on the football field. And I think that's kind of helped me translate into the business world where, whenever I open a new business or I commit to partner with something, I give my all to it. I'm going to pour it all in there. I'm going to leave it all in the field, as we would say. Yep. And so I think having that mentality has really helped me understand of, knowing that when I'm going into a commitment, it's like war. I'm going to have good days, bad days, battle myself. But at the end of the day, I can pour and leave it all into that. And I think that mentality has kind of really helped me translate and have some successful businesses now.
That's dope. Well, for me personally, it was a safe zone. It is similar. It is similar to y'all, right? It's something I can't control. I always seen it as, no. Look, man, I'm not as smart in the classroom, but it is something that I can be free and be open is pretty much at all times. I had a lot of, inner anger too. Because, man, I used to get teased, man, at school, but also look though I can swing with the best of them. I can swing with the best of them, and not saying that I was an angry kid, but it is, but you know I learned to channel that anger to like sports, like my feel like that helped out with the confidence that it kind of is like that it kind of substituted with all the you know all the insecurities of having a stutter. It is because that is something that man I always been really good at, you know. So I just kept working at it. Not so much with having a stutter. That was always something that, you know, that like I tried to like that, like it was so far out of reach that I'm like that is a huge goal of mine, is to speak like as clearly as possible, right? But also it's like dang.
You know what's funny, man, is that in my head, man, I was the best speaker in the world. Right?
Yeah,
I was
in there.
I was clear, and then as soon as it got to my mouth, it definitely was not that. Right. And so to me, you know, I had a lot of anger too growing up. You know, like I think that's common, and you know, like having baseball and having, you know, that as like the outlet, man, I would play baseball all day. I would go down to like the public school and throw balls against the handball court, right?
Yeah.
All day long, you know, if I can get out to the field. And that was just my out. That was like the coping mechanism, but it became like the passion. And I knew that that was going to be my way out, coupled with like, just like studying. And if I couldn't talk the way that I wanted to, I was going to learn everything that I could. And I was going to write. Yeah. And, you know, because I had to have another way to communicate with people. And so I focused on reading and like writing in private and baseball. Like those are the three things that I did all the time. I mean, I had friends and I went out and stuff like that. But I think that what that did for me was it gave me like that own self, like confidence to get out of the car when I knew stuff was going bad, not go to the park when I had like that weird feeling that like something might happen.
Yeah.
You know, like it gave me that confidence to be like, I'm out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and that helped me stay on like the right path. And so getting into like Wesleyan, I mean, the first person in my family, like my dad was a bus driver, my mother cleaned like people's homes. Yeah. You know, I grew up on like other people's couches, like watching like Days of Our Lives and things of that nature.
Days of Our Lives, man.
Right.
Right.
Prices, right? And things of that nature, right? That was that time frame, right? That 11 to 1.
Right. That's crazy. Hey, Eric, that you mentioned your pops. Yeah. Right? Man, he was super smart guy. Y'all two have that pretty similar. Yeah. Like on how that impacted you, like how he lived. Yeah. Like, could you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
same with you, bro.
yeah, like he was a military guy too. Like he fought in the Vietnam War, but he didn't like he spent like a couple of days there, but he spent most of his time in you know Germany fighting the Cold War like during his time, and so when he got out, he was going to go into finance and things of that nature, and then he pivoted real quickly and he became a bus driver, like a school bus driver, and then he started driving a bus in Queens, a company called Jamaica.
Okay.
Out in Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah.
And I remember riding the bus with him. Like, you know, if my school was out and they couldn't find a babysitter, and a babysitter meant like another family member because no one was paying for a babysitter.
Yeah.
Like I went to Queens with him, and I remember that, man. Like I remember getting up at 4 a.m. and driving out to Queens and like hopping on his bus and driving and like sitting right behind him and driving the bus in Jamaica for like 8 hours.
So that you think that he could have
I know where you're getting
done more type. No. You know how it's like how I'm thinking of it is like man, a guy that is like super smart.
Yeah.
But he also had a stutter, right?
So I didn't know this, and I didn't find out about this until like honestly 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I joined the board for the American Institute for Stuttering, and that was about 2 years ago, maybe, right, something like that now. Yeah. And it's funny, like I joined the board, but I found out like about like a year prior. I'm like, hey, like, do you know that it's passed on through, you know, genes? Like there has to be someone in the family that has a stutter, like. You know, who was it? And he's like, oh, you probably got it from me. And so I never knew that he had a stutter. And I think that goes to show you that people who have a stutter, they're all different.
Right.
You know, is different levels, different things to trigger it. And I think like people have to know that you know, there are good days and bad days, but all people are different with it. You know, like it comes in like different forms.
Makes sense. Man, that's about the pops. Interesting enough, I've never talked with my dad on this any kind of platform. For my dad passed 2 years ago, but it'd be good to talk about him though. But my dad played a very large part in my life, similar to E. Very loving, but very stern and tough father for sure. No doubt about it. Carl Brown did not play games
Carl
at all. No games at all.
Hey, Dad, you kind of look like a Carl too.
Yeah, I should have been a junior. I should have been, but he didn't. Name me Jerrel. But no, he my dad actually, when I was around, I think between 9 and 10, he suffered a pretty catastrophic injury at work, which kind of debilitated his ability to be the kind of father he wanted to be. And I think that instantly thrusted me into a leadership role. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. And so naturally, and he let me know pretty early, like, hey, like I'm depending on you to kind of carry my legacy. There's a lot more pressure going to be on you. And I think that in the time you don't understand it, always kind of feels like, man, I have always so much responsibility. But I think that I've learned to use it's made me an amazing leader to this day, I believe. I think at such an early age, understanding that I have people that are watching me, that are depending on me, that are looking at the moves that I'm making. And I think when you talk about what kind of kept you on the straight and narrow, I think definitely just having 3 younger brothers and understanding, like, my dad made it clear they're going to follow what you do. Mm-hmm. The best thing you can do is go out and be the best possible man you can be and have them follow behind you. And I think I'm still trying to do that to this day. But, yeah, my dad played a huge role. And I think even to his passing, he stayed very close to me, making sure that I had the confidence I needed to continue doing what I do. He poured in a lot to me. As far as, I think he's the first person that removed this ceiling of like, I'm capped at here, I can't do this. I think going to where we come from and these neighborhoods, you often get educators who don't see you for who you are, what you can be. So I grew up a lot of hearing what I couldn't do. I wouldn't go to college. I wouldn't graduate high school. I would never be the starting running back on my football team. I heard all those things kind of growing up in my my father played a role in my life where his voice was so large for me that he removed all those negative things I heard. Like, he was pouring into me constantly about what I could do, what I should be doing. And most importantly, I think he pushed me to be better than him. And I thought my dad was everything. I thought he was like Superman. And every day, I mean, all the time, he'd be like, be better than me. You could be way better than me. And I love that, because I take that with my brothers, where I push them to be like, no, be better than me. Put it to my son, you're going to be way better than I am. And I think that kind of internally still drives me to this day. So, yeah, he played a big role. Shout out to Pops.
You know what's funny, too, is that, like you just said it, right? The whole, like, ceiling concept. I think so many people out there they put this arbitrary ceiling on themselves for no reason. For no reason. And, you know, once people realize that the only ceiling that's created is the one that they put up there. Yeah. Like, that's like the biggest hurdle. Yeah. Because then anything's possible.
Absolutely. That's why it's important to have people, I think, helping remove those. Because I think in today's society now, with all the access, you have the social media, you're constantly being formed and guided, or taking these ideals and someone telling you this or telling you that. And I think it's always important to have that constant voice to be able to tell you, like, no, man, you just can be bigger than you can be. Even the conversations we have, right? It's like how big can Beyond the Stutter can be, right? There are no limits to who we can get or who you can reach and talk to. And look what we have here now, right? And so I think it's just proven to this day.
So y'all talked about stuff that really pushed y'all over that pushed y'all over that ceiling, right? It's like as an example, right? Mine's was just really seeing like there's so much more. Is that, look, I'm not about to let this small stutter look as I seen it stop me from speaking or stop me from being socially there. It's that I can do anything I want. Like, if I work hard, man, at it, man, if I really needed to put in effort. I know Eric to is that it's that you had like a switch in your life with the 9/11 situation. Yeah. So
I was a senior in college. I just started my college year. I went to Wesleyan in Connecticut, and I'll never forget the morning. Like, I was coming out of like modern dance class because that's what athletes do. They come out of modern dance class, right?
And yoga, all those kind of things, right?
It's a senior year class, right?
Give me my credits. Let me get out of here, man. I'm almost out of here, right?
Modern dance class.
And like a friend, Dawn, came up and she's like, "Hey, a plane just hit the World Trade Center." Now, like, I had family in the World Trade Center. I had family that were firefighters. I had, my dad actually worked around there because at that time, like, he was a boss. And, like, I don't know if they converted to the MTA. I think they converted to the MTA by that point, Jamaica and the MTA. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, wow, right, that's crazy. And then I got back, to my fraternity, and I turned on the TV. And then people started to gather on, and we actually saw the second plane hit. Oh. And the minute that happened, we were like, all right, that's not a coincidence. Right. That's not an accident. Mm-hmm. And then we watched the tower fall, and we couldn't get home. Like, like all of us, there's a lot of us there from the New York area, and we couldn't like call home. Like, all the phone lines were blocked. Like, all the cell phone lines were blocked. We were talking about driving down, and people like, oh, you know, some people saying that it's terrorism, so we don't know what's happening. You know, like the road's gonna be blocked. Long like story short, we had family that were partners in Canner. It was, you know, Canner Fitzgerald, and you know, they perished, like the whole office did.
Wow.
And then we had like neighbors and friends of the family that also. So I mean, like it was tough.
Yeah.
It was which was definitely tough. And then by that point, I mean, like I was a senior, and so it just kind of, to me, like that like mindset just, you know, kind of like switched, and I never wanted to be that helpless
Right.
ever again. I kind of feel that the worst feeling in the world is wanting to do something but not knowing what to do.
Right.
And I never wanted to feel that again. So that's when I pivoted. Like I was a government major too, and I pivoted, and I made the government my focus. And people were saying, "Oh, you can't become a special agent, and you can't do this, you can't do that." And I still had a stutter at that time. You know, I mean, I still have a stutter now, but at that point, it was, you know, it was a pretty prominent thing. But I never let anybody tell me no. You know, like I started that very, very early, like in life, and like that was the point where once I put my mind to it, I'm gonna do it. You know, and to me, I think it's all about like having the vision, right? People call it like manifesting, but like if you're hyper focused on something, and you're gonna go like all in, like you said, I think that's the key. Like focus on what you want to achieve, and go all in, and know that there's a trade off, because it's like something's gonna have to give, right?
Yeah.
Like if you give like all in on something else is gonna have to give. And my trade off was, after I got in, was the family piece, because I was constantly traveling.
Yeah.
I was constantly. I was never home. I was like, where in the world is Eric?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Constantly on the move.
Right.
For a good reason, though.
Yeah,
On the move
yeah,
for a good reason.
Yeah. So, and that was the trade off, until that trade off wasn't worth it anymore.
Oh,
And then I got out.
Wow.
That's big. E. That is. I bet that really switched your mindset in, like, man, in your interaction with people as well, right?
You know, like having a stutter. The thing about people that have a stutter, we listen a lot. We watch a lot. We watch a lot of people. We listen to people like quite intently, and like, right?
Seriously,
it's funny. One always something I tell about him. I was like, Antoine, I don't know if you know, but you're like a really good listener, like an extremely good listener. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you do this, but it makes sense. But sorry,
But you know what though? I mean, like that translated well, like into the government world, because if you listen to people, you connect with people. And like it helped in you know, trying to kind of pass policy. It helped with like talking with people and you know, I was interviewing people that like committed crimes. You know,
some real top secret stuff.
Well, I mean, like
huh?
you connect with people.
Yeah.
Like this is a people thing.
Right.
But I think what's interesting though is that, and I know it's only because of previous work experience. And I did commercial real estate development. I worked with a company called Sarah Regis, and I worked with a very incredible colleague named John Wright, and he worked in D.C., worked in the White House, and he was probably one of the most detailed and communicative people I've ever met in my life. And it's interesting that, and that was with government. Interesting that you chose to be in government, which the level of communication there is extremely intense.
Yeah.
It needs to be precise, needs to be on time, because so many of the different factors depending on it, especially when you relate to things like 9/11, the amount of communication that goes around that. To have a speech impediment and a stutter and still push into a field that requires so much communication. Did you think about that at all? Or is it?
I did, man. I did. You know, it was a humbling experience when you're in what we call like the lead car, and you're calling out, like blocking maneuvers for traffic, and you have like Condoleezza Rice in the back, right? Like, you know, like,
saying, right?
You know, it was crazy. But you know what though? It was my way of I at that moment I didn't think of it, you know, and it was like I was somebody else and I was in a different place. You know, I just, because there was more at stake than just me. The other thing too that I tell people all the time, I'm like, you have a voice and it needs to be heard. You know, and like whatever that voice is going to say, if you're passionate about whatever the topic is, you have a voice and it needs to be heard. Like, we live in a great country that lets us do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to let your voice be heard.
Yeah. I think it's cool what you said also, which again is such interesting takes. It's just that you mentioned about all the things, just a brief minute ago, all the things around outside of speaking that made you a good person or made you excel in the field you're in. It's just interesting that even if you could remove it, it wouldn't necessarily make you guys better people in your fields, right? It's all the other things around it. It's how you, it's a people thing, it's a people thing, how you treat people, how do you listen, how do you respond, tone, like all those things matter outside of just
empathy,
right? Empathy, right?
You know,
so many different things, layers outside of just, did I get this sentence out smoothly? That make you the more rounded person, which is.
But on the outside end, that's how people see us.
Yeah.
It's that small little piece.
Yeah.
You know, man, it's small, but man, it's also pretty big because we are constantly talking. We constantly interacting. But people fail to realize every time is like, yo, this is a whole person that really experienced life with a stutter. Like, we constantly have to think about, like, that stuff can be like a little draining, right, E?
No, you know, man, I mean, it's I think the like amount of time that we spend having a stutter, trying to kind of whether it's manipulate a conversation, steer a conversation in a certain way because a certain word may trigger us. Think about, like, pre-think, you know, how I want to present this to the board or to, you know, like a C-suite member or things of that nature. It takes a lot of energy. To make sure that you can kind of create the right environment. But I took that same focus and level of, the detail in general, to everything I did in the government, to like, you know, it was everything I did now. And I have to say that commitment, and I tell my kids this all the time, I was like, you know, there's 2 C's, commitment and consistency. If you have commitment and you're consistent, you can achieve anything.
Right.
And I tell them that all the time. And I learned that at a young age, you know, with baseball. I mean, I was a small kid, right? Like, I wasn't a big kid. I was fast. I could play the game, but I had to have other intangibles to get looked at, because I wasn't hitting the home runs, right? Like, I wasn't doing those things. So I had to be just committed to it. I had to be consistent, and if I could be committed and consistent, I could do it.
Yeah, I love that.
It's man. It's same with you, right? It's like on the athlete side, and also with your career now, is like that you have to constantly put yourself out there, and constantly happen to learn. Man, even when people, man, says that you cannot achieve X amount of stuff, that kind of, you know, what me personally, look, I go at them like just watch. Just watch. Like that's my competitive spirit. Like, look, I just like to prove people wrong, and I like to, and so that is a fear of mine, right? It's to like be in this small box and like, oh yeah, that's person right, and just like that, and just walk away. Like, no, I'm not about to do that. I'm about to go forward.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of because with my stutter, you know, man, I hated reading, like out loud, man. I know look, yeah,
I hated reading out loud, man.
Yeah, but
I still hate reading out loud, by the
way. Yeah, so it's such a little like what Eric said is like with that consistency part. Yeah, but I want you to talk about.
Yeah, I would say mine are similar. I think from my life experience, my two that I usually kind of really push me, allow me to kind of, I'll say, break out that box, that mental box we were talking about. I think is one, the ability to learn and the need and desire to learn, and then to have heart. I think if you combine those things, at least for me, it's been my unstoppable combination. Like I go into situations, if I'm competing, especially now with the mindset, like I'll just outlearn you. Like I will consume more knowledge. I will be so greedy and so undesirably hungry to gain the knowledge that I need to. And right now you look at today's society, like it's really about how much you want to gain, whether it's Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, it's there. And so I think I take on like my ability and knack for learning, I think is what's really pushed me over the hump now. And what I use as a tool is like,
it's amazing though.
Consuming it,
like three like companies you said you started, right? Like,
2 companies,
two. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's that learning. I think it's that learning nature. Even when it small side note, we was running Dapper down, and the media side really switched from like still photography to reels and videos and all that nature, and that's what was engaging. I picked up a camera and taught myself how to get into that. Simply by the desire of like, there's a need, but I can learn it. If I can learn it, I can obtain it. And so people ask me, now, how'd you get in this? I'm like, I studied all the time. Like I literally got the camera and did not put it down. I just kept learning and learning and learning. And I'm still learning now. And I think that hunger for that is what's helping me open up more businesses and helping me grow and partner. Is that I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I feel like I'm an extremely intelligent individual for sure, but there's almost like an excitement about how much knowledge is still out there for me to gain. And I think when you combine that with having heart, which for me is just having grit, it's like you're not going to be told no. Like you'll get through this wall or get through this because there's something in you that's saying you can. And I think having those two as a combination for me has been extremely successful. Just not turning anything down, not letting the no stop me, continuing to be tenacious in the way I approach things. And then having the ability to want and go and learn. I hear a roadblock, I'm like, how do I learn to get around it? And I think that has just been incredible. And something that I just try to pass down to my son now is like continue to learn. I see that he's eager and has that. And I'm like, we're going to feed that as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something you cannot, you can't get full on.
So so it is that you had to read a lot. So I know Eric had had an eye-opening experience in college with reading out loud. Look, I had one too. I don't know if you had. It's that one, but like it's similar to what I just said earlier. Like, man, I hated reading out loud. Like I used to do some things to not
Me too.
be called
100%.
on in class. Like I used
the
to
anxiety coming, you're probably like,
boy, I used
you
to
can only be sick so many times in class, and then they're just gonna flunk you, right?
Exactly. So it's
I can only imagine the tactics, like this. What's going on in the mindset? Like, I know it's coming. How do I work this out? Like
somehow, and one guy actually called on me, knowing I like let's just say we had a little conversation afterwards. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, man, but come on, bro.
And
Was you trying to be funny, hee ha ha moment or something, bro? But yeah, man, I know Eric has something. But
I was gonna say quick. I think, and I think this probably happens. I think just being a father now that helps you see it better. But I think it's interesting because some of the experience you guys are talking about is in very younger settings, right? It could be elementary school, 6, 7, 10, whatever, right? But even then, a lot of those people don't understand But I feel like at the younger age, it's like they don't understand the impact of some of the things they say or do. Or you know what I'm saying? At that age, you're just in school, right? You're making fun of somebody and don't really understand. And hopefully it gets better as you get older. But it's just you guys having to overcome those kind of circumstances at such a young age, I think is difficult, right? Sometimes people overcome these things in development ages where they understand it better or have more confidence. But for you guys, some of these things were so early on, it's really like no escaping it, right?
Right, no escaping.
You can't escape going to school. You're going to that school, right?
100%.
And you're in that school from 1st, 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th, right? So you're carrying some of these same kids around, right? Now you can navigate and get a new job and move around. And so I'm just, again, just committing something. It's helped me slow down and understand the big picture, just how much you guys are battling on a day-to-day and early as you guys did.
You know, it's funny, too. Like, I grew up, going to Catholic school, right? And back in, like, the early, like, 80s, like, the mid-80s, like, the sisters and the nuns, they were not like the sisters and nuns today.
Whoa, you're lying. No way.
Like, they were, like, I had one nun, I'll never get this, like, Sister Conchetta. She was a ninja with that yardstick. Like,
I believe it. Different rules back then. There were different rules back then. I'm telling you.
100%. Like 100%.
But I'm thinking all peaceful stuff that comes out of that. No?
What?
Like, shoot, man, little man, all peaceful stuff like that.
She was not peaceful. Yeah.
They're going to make you disciplined. I've heard.
She woke up with violence every day.
She's going to smoke every day, really.
Not every day.
Every day.
Motivated. Something was motivating her. We don't know
she
yet.
She had to go to confession every day. like that'd be like a requirement. But no, I mean, like growing up, man. I mean, it was definitely like that. I think in college was like the worst, right? Like because like college you have girls and things like that, and I had this one class, and getting back to it. I had this one class. It was Greek. I loved history.
Yeah.
I loved learning about history. Loved it. And it was a Greek, kind of like a mythology class. But man, we had to read the Iliad and the Odyssey and like all these other and the Peloponnesian War. We had to read it in class. Oh. No one told me that. That wasn't a prerequisite. Like if I would have known that, I wouldn't have showed up. Right?
Yeah, right.
I would have dropped it in a heartbeat.
You've been done with that.
Like, why are you going to assign a book and then have to read the same book at home and in class?
Forget that.
Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right? So, but that was definitely that class. And, like there was a girl that I liked in the class. I'm like, oh, this is awful.
Yep. You're
like this is awful.
Bad.
Right? Right?
It's so I'm guessing that you went to class, that you didn't go to class.
I wound up starting to go to class, then I wound up not going to class, and then I got a phone call saying, "Hey, you're acing all the tests, but you're not showing in class. We're gonna have to flunk you." And I said, "All right, well then I have to go back to class."
Yeah. Hey, man, it's little stuff though, man. Come on, you know I know the material.
Yeah, hey, right? So that you and we're about to wrap this thing up, but that you spoke about when that you was constantly traveling to all over, that you is head of security and stuff like that. I know that you had a interaction with the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, so very, very blessed. Probably met a lot of great people, like spent some like quality time, like I said, talking to a lot of them, and coming back from like Kofi Annan, probably the purest politician I've ever seen in my life, in the sense of how he connects with, how he was connected with people. Like, he would talk to you once, and he would absolutely, I remember everything about you and everything that you talked about. It was amazing.
That's crazy.
The Dalai Lama, though, was very, very, being in the State Department, we actually protected, and we protect the Dalai Lama, like, every year. And so I got 3 opportunities to protect him. And one year my mother had, she had bladder cancer. And this is like my 3rd year, I think I protected him. And I asked the agent in charge if I could have a conversation with him. I didn't think it was possible. And they got it, and they got like 15 minutes. And I spent like 15 minutes at the Signature Air Terminal at JFK, and I sat there with just me and him. And I asked him if he could pray, if he could pray for my mother.
Wow.
And he said no. Right.
Said no.
Well, and I was a little taken back.
Yeah.
And he was like, he goes, but it was very much the Buddhist way. And he was saying, he goes, prayer is just hope. He goes, it's really about, how you think about your situation and the positivity that you can bring into your life that's going to really change what's happening inside of you. He's like, so like start small, like hold the door open for people, pick up things that people drop, start building that, like, the positivity into the life. And stop focusing on just like, the negative and the woe me. And so I'm not going to lie, like, I probably like walked out being like the Brooklyn kid. I'm like, wow, what an ass, right?
Come on.
But the reality was, like, I thought about this for a long time, like 7 years I thought about this. And I was down in a training session down in Brunswick, Georgia. And it was like a supervisory training, and we were training on how to deal with like employees that may be a bit like difficult, etc. And I had to give a presentation, and we all know I don't like presentations, right? But it just hit me, and I walked into that class, and these are all very senior people, and I said, hey, do me a favor, close your eyes and think about the worst person that you ever thought about or that you ever met in your life. Think about what they said to you, what they did to you, all that. I said, think about all of that. Now give me one word that describes them. Curse words came out left and right.
Yeah.
Right? I said, now, everyone, open your eyes. Still, think about that person. And now close your eyes again and think about them. Think about all the bad things, but now stop. Take a breath. Now think about one great quality about them and tell me now. People couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And I said, and it hit me that night. And I said, do me a favor, let me open up your eyes. You know why you couldn't say anything positive about that person? It's like, because it takes no energy to be negative. It takes zero energy to be negative, to be part of the problem, to hop on that bandwagon, to just do it. It takes zero energy. It takes all the energy in the world to be positive and to find, a way forward and a solution to that problem. So from that piece of time, like, it helped me, like, that really helped shape, what I train my team on. I train them on like a different version of the 80-20 rule. I say this, I'm like, listen, there's 20% of the people out there, regardless of what you do, 20% of people are not going to like it.
Yep.
And so are you going to focus on that 20%, or are you going to focus on the 80% that you could win? And you may not have 80% at the start. You may have 50, 60, right? But are you going to focus on that number that you can win and you can get and that are going to get on board, or the 20% that will never?
Reaping that effort.
That right there is that is something that all of us should take on a day-to-day act. Because, man, it's so easy to really pay attention to, man, all the negative stuff, is with the whole stuttering part. But it can shape you, like, man. It can really have us there's so much positive
Yeah.
that comes out of this.
Man, I mean, like, in real, like, I think that we were talking earlier, right? We were saying, to me, it was really about, I got on that path, which led to getting to know myself way early in life.
Yeah.
Way, way early, because I spent a lot of time just thinking and, like reading and having to get to know me,
Yep.
but focusing on like having to just accept the fact that I had a stutter. And I think the first way forward, and this goes for anybody, like you have to love yourself first.
Wow. That's big.
Yeah,
absolutely.
like you have to just be comfortable with who you are first before you can make any changes outside of that.
Yep.
Before you can change the world, you have to love yourself first.
Love that. Well,
Real. That's deep right there. I'm glad they're getting to listen to that, because that right there has so many layers to it. About, I mean, if you can't love yourself, I mean, how can you possibly in a position to help or love anybody else or push anyone else in the right direction?
Yeah.
So, that's deep.
so to wrap it up, like, is there any encouraging words from Real, like, and E? Yeah, because y'all guys are amazing. Thank you guys for showing up and being who that you have every day. And also shout out to KGPC.
There we go.
Go. There you go.
Woo, woo, woo.
96.9. Yeah, we is live, and we is up and at it. So oh yeah, man, is there any last pieces?
That's a good question. I think I'm a double down on just on the learning piece, man. Just like continually be an avid learner, wanting to learn, and that could be from your social media, it could be from people. I'm already voting for round 2. I think the people live want to see a round 2 of this, because we still got a lot more to talk about. But I learned so much even just during this conversation, and I'm eager to learn more about it. I know you a lot, Antoine, but even getting to learn more about E, and even the in-betweens, right? I think even now, right, so much more than just about stuttering, right? There were so much gems and life lessons in there. And so I think anyone that's trying to excel or become better in life, I think that only happens by trying to learn how to do that from some of the people around you. So I'm double down on that one.
Well, thank you, bro. E.
Like to me, like if we just talk about the kids out there, I mean, 1% of the population, has a stutter. At 1.5% of the population has a stutter, and then over time, people kind of work their way out of it. But 1% of the current the population has stutter. So that's like 3 million people in just the U.S., and that's like 70, 80 million people worldwide.
It's a lot of people,
right? And so so if you talk if you look at it that way, I think the biggest thing is that people have to know that they're not alone.
right?
That there's a community out there. Like having a stutter doesn't know race, it doesn't know faith, it doesn't know any of that. It affects everybody.
Everybody can
right?
get it.
And I think that to me, like having a stutter was like the biggest blessing in the world, because how do I judge others when I'm getting judged every day, like my whole life?
Exactly.
And so to me, like now that happened to me, I'm definitely a better person for it, because like this is about how do we connect with people.
Yep. Absolutely.
Life is about how do you connect with people.
Right.
And these kids need to know that they have a pathway forward, and the only ceiling that they're going to have is the one that they ultimately place on themselves.
Man, that stuff is heart failing. Man, look, my almost shed a tear, man, a couple of times, because the impact is so high, and there's a lot of people that are suffering, that are hiding because of their their overall circumstances, whether it's a stuttering, whether it's hairline issues, lips too big, nose, whatever that they are struggling with, they are kind of like enslaved of it. So that is so I appreciate Eric and Rail for just for sharing. The message out here is you guys have something to say, something to talk about, and let your story shine. So yeah, this is we are for sure about to have a second kind of these, because man, we have a lot to talk about, and everybody else, you guys just keep on pushing.
Oh,
all right, you guys.
So thanks for having us out.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you, man.
And then she said,